the new $2,700 stimulus check, monthly check that is, as long as they fulfill a set of requirements set out by the Social Security Administration. Now, the organization is in control of approving who receives the monthly check, which is tied to retirement age and a host of other factors. Those receiving the $2,700 monthly check are couples who have retired and are recipients from support of the SSI. For individuals receiving retirement benefits, the maximum that can be received is around $1,657. But everybody, the longer the Americans wait to receive payments from the federal retirement account, the higher the monthly check they can expect to receive based on their work history. The Senior Citizens League, an advocacy group for seniors, says a movement to get a fourth stimulus check for everybody is finally moving forward. The group issued a call to Congress to take action for Social Security recipients, citing rising costs of Medicare, food, housing, and transportation. The petition asked for a $1,400 check to people on Social Security, as it reached a new 40-year high, with the consumer price index up 8.5% from March 2021 to last month. In an official statement, Manchin said, "When will this end? It is a disservice to the American people to act as if inflation is a new phenomenon. The Federal Reserve and the administration failed to act fast enough, and today's data is a snapshot of time. The American people deserve the truth about why record inflation is happening and what must be done to control it." Now, Manchin also stated that getting inflation under control will require more aggressive action by a Federal Reserve that waited too long to act. It demands the administration and Congress, Democrats and Republicans alike, support an all-above energy policy, because that is the only way to bring down the high price of gas and energy while attacking climate change. The White House initially dismissed inflation last year as a transitory problem before it continued to surge into 2021 and 2022. So we definitely see that President Biden has to do something about inflation. President Biden signed an executive order that will affect millions of Americans. $500 stimulus checks have finally begun being mailed out and deposited into bank accounts, and eligible people have received it. Top lawmakers are discussing now whether the fourth stimulus package should include one-time payments or recurring monthly payments. Everybody, there's a growing number of Senate Democrats that are currently pressuring President Biden to extend rescue measures as the country continues to recover. 21 members of the Democratic caucus wrote to the president urging him to include recurring direct payments as part of his recovery plan. The senators, led by Finance Committee Chair Ron Wyden, aim to tie to the aid of economic conditions so relief does not lapse too early. The senators wrote, "This crisis is far from over, and families deserve certainty that they can put food on the table and keep a roof over their heads. Families should not be at the mercy of constantly shifting timelines." Senator Wyden has long called for Congress to phase out assistance as the economy improves. Congress is ready to pass new stimulus legislation that will send monthly recurring checks out to low and middle income households. 8,000 checks are now available to eligible people through a new relief program. So today, President Biden spoke in Iowa as the country's largest corn ethanol producing facility. So earlier, President Biden spoke in Iowa. President Biden formally announced the authorization of some gasoline in the United States in an effort to increase fuel supply and reduce gas prices across the country. During his speech, President Biden said he's doing everything within his power to bring down the price of gas across the country, saying families' budgets and Americans' abilities to fill up their tanks should not be affected by the crisis. Now, the president also addressed inflation, which accelerated in March to a new 4-decade high. President Biden said everything is going up as he pointed to new inflation numbers. The Consumer Price Index, a measure of inflation in the economy, hit a 4-decade high in March. A brutal reminder for Democrats of the political headwinds facing them as they seek to keep the majority in the House and Senate this fall. Prices rose 8.5% from March 2021 to March 2022.
You know, this last year, it really was a headline of Democrats deliver, but there's more to do, and that's what we're focused on for the coming year as it relates to the costs that families are feeling every single day. And there's no question that our country still faces supply chain challenges. I certainly from Michigan can speak about that and what that means, and everything that we buy in terms of cars and appliances and every part of the economy, and we are laser focused on addressing that, and the increased costs due to COVID. And over again, when we look at what has happened when you shut the economy down in the United States and globally, the ripple effect is in every part of our lives. And so we have been laser focused and will continue to be laser focused in addressing that. And Republicans have done nothing to lower costs. They have proposed nothing to lower costs. We've worked with President Biden to pass the American Rescue Plan that put shots in people's arms to create safety for them, for their family, to get kids back in school. When the president took office, there were 46% of the children in America in school. Now it's 98%. That's a big difference, and we understand the challenges families still face under COVID, but it's safer. Children are back and learning in the classroom. And we've gotten our economy moving in the fastest, strongest way since 1984. It is amazing, the underlying strength, even when we've seen costs go up.
The fiscal mess I inherited. After my predecessor's fiscal mismanagement, we're reducing the Trump deficits and returning our fiscal house to order. Now, the budget I'm releasing today will continue this approach. It makes prudent investments in economic growth, a more equitable economy, while making sure corporations and the very wealthy pay their fair share. And I would add, nobody making less than $400,000 a year will pay a penny more in federal taxes. We can do this by, one, passing legislation that lowers costs for families on things like child care, health care, and energy costs, while lowering our deficit at the same time. We can give hardworking parents raising children tax relief that gives them just a little bit of breathing room and lowers child poverty. We can give Medicare the power to negotiate lower prescription drug prices. This will bring down the cost for seniors and reduce the deficit by hundreds of billions of dollars. Congress can do this all right now. They're debating it now. We can also restore fiscal responsibility. The Trump tax cuts added $2 trillion in deficit spending and largely helped the rich and the largest corporations. Under my plan, as I said, no one making less than $400,000 a year will pay additional single penny in taxes. No one. If you don't make $400 grand, you're not going to pay a single penny in additional federal taxes. And the wealthy and corporations will finally begin to pay their fair share. For most Americans, the last few years were very hard, stretching them to the breaking point. But billionaires and large corporations got richer than ever. Right now, billionaires pay an average rate of 8% on their total income. 8%, that's the average they pay. Now, I'm a capitalist, but if you can make $1 billion, great. Just pay your fair share, pay a little bit. A firefighter and a teacher pay more than double the tax rate that a billionaire pays. That's not right. That's not fair. And my budget contains a billionaire minimum tax because of that. A 20% minimum tax that applies only to the top 1/100%